Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another theme park obsession video. My name is Dylan and thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. Today I am back at Universal Studios Hollywood to check up on the park this week to see what's new. There's a lot of Halloween Horror Nights construction going on, as well as a lot of Super Nintendo World work. So without further ado, how about you and I dive right in. Alrighty, first things first in any Universal Studios Hollywood update during the summer, and that is to check up on the Halloween Horror Nights mazes at the Curious George lot. And another thing I wanted to mention before we start talking about the Halloween Horror Nights mazes is that the Poke Bowl place up at CityWalk has been closed for some time, and I don't know if they're going to be making a return or not. I'm hoping that they do, because it's one of my favorite go-to lunch items when I would come here to the park, or during Horror Nights, before Horror Nights evening, I would go get a Poke Bowl because the food was really good there. So I hope something like that returns in its spot, if it's going to be a new restaurant, or if the regular place comes back soon, that would be nice too. But here at the Curious George lot, really not much has changed since the last week we were here. Still the same amount of lumber that has been staged. It'll probably be shipped off to other areas in the park because they are building a few other mazes kind of scattered throughout the property. Nothing really has changed on this particular maze, and that maze has yet to be announced, so we do not know what that one is. Still a lot of props over in this corner. And panning over to this maze, which has been announced, this is the Halloween maze. This is the OG Halloween, the original. It looks like they've installed some AC unit here. It's a little cooling system, and they pump that through the maze, so maybe we'll have a cool little scene somewhere in the middle of the attraction, so that's nice. But you can see a lot of wiring for, I would assume, some electrical, because that's pretty much the next stage in a lot of these haunted houses that they're building, that they're going to start programming all the audio and lighting equipment, so they need a lot of cabling to rig these haunted houses up. All right, we're done with those Halloween Horror Nights haunted houses, so let's continue through CityWalk towards the front of the park. As far as the Twosome's Chocolate Emporium, not much has changed this week as far as the exterior facade is concerned. Still the same looking thing, just from the previous video. There's a lot of groundwork happening though. I saw some crews out front of the restaurant working on some of that work. That's probably gonna eventually be the patio space, just the entry points. Everything's probably happening on the inside of the restaurant. While still up around Production Central, still have no idea what they're doing here. Oh, look at this, this is new. Sensation sunglasses, you're on. Yeah, so you can pick up a nice pair of shades at this particular location. I was wondering what they were working on in here. Gonna have to go back to this chicken place soon. The sweet pickles were so good. And of course, the chicken tenders were awesome. All right, here we go. Universal Studios Hollywood. All right, we've made it inside the park. They're still working on this end of the studio store. So yeah, still don't know what they're gonna be putting in there. Really curious. And you know what? The park is actually not that busy right now, which is kind of nice, even though it's officially summer. Like I said in the previous video, just definitely brace for the crowds, but so far so good. Over here at Waterworld, they're still working on the HHN maze. Not really a lot has changed in the week. They are starting to paint the outside of it black, so that's really nice to see. But slowly but surely, I'm sure they are just building the rest of the scenes out in this particular maze, and then eventually we'll see the facade take shape on the other side. But next up, let's head over to the Parisian courtyard. Oh, being in the shade is so nice. The minute you step out in the sun, it's just like, yeah!
Look, I brought a friend.
Oh, hello! My goodness.
How are you?
Good, how are you two?
We're doing okay today, not so bad. Getting a little sun today.
Yeah, it's a little hot.
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. You know, we're just gonna be chilling around the park. We're looking around to see what's new this week.
That sounds fun. What are you guys up to first?
Well, first we're gonna head over there towards Mel's.
Oh, all together, let's go!
Let's go! Now, before I forget, Universal Studios Hollywood is doing a 4th of July celebration. July 2nd through the 4th, there'll be fireworks, live music, and a bunch of other special things. So if you're in the area, you're cruising around Universal Studios or just Hollywood in general for 4th of July, stop by the park because they're gonna do a really cool fireworks display for the weekend. Now over at the Parisian courtyard, that haunted house's facade looks to be complete. So they're not really working on that particular section anymore. So all the work is probably happening on the inside. And we even went to French Street to see if we can see anything on the sides. Usually there's like a little cutout where you can see them build up the some of the vertical sets, but really not anything this year. So a lot of it is hidden, which is kind of cool because it's all going to be a surprise when the event officially opens. But here we go, one of my favorite spots to check out Super Nintendo World, the lookout over by Super Silly Funland. Oh my goodness, I can already see right off the bat that Bowser's Castle is looking very nice, and they've removed all the scaffolding from the bottom of the structure because all that work seems to be done. Then they'll just install the big Bowser figure in the front, just like we see over in Japan. And then Peach's Castle looks to still have some scaffolding on top, but I'm sure maybe the bottom half of the castle is complete, just similar to Bowser. And it looks like there's just some slight activity near the bottom of the land. Other than that, all the work at the top of the land seems to be complete, which is really, really nice. Nintendo is looking so good, and it's moving along so fast. But one thing I am very excited to see eventually here in the build out and the test and adjust phase is the movement and all the kinetic energy of all the coins and the clouds and all just every moving piece in the land. That's going to be really fun to see because eventually, just like in Japan, they're going to start testing all that stuff throughout the day just to stress test it. So we're going to get some really good views of that, hopefully here in the next few months once they turn everything on. Talk about a perfect day to be at the water park today. My goodness. Still nothing happening in the plaza, so I'm wondering if they're going to do anything for the summer season, or they're just going to wait until HHN comes along. Because remember, last year for HHN, they had like this Dia de los Muertos area. They had really good food. They had some good tacos over in this corner, and then they had a big giant bar right over here. So maybe they're just holding out for that, because I'm sure that build process does take a couple weeks. So I don't know, we'll keep an eye on it though. But first, there's some big news over here at the Special Effects Show. It's making a comeback this summer. The show will be making a comeback July 1st through August 14th. It'll run daily if you're here at the park, and then it'll switch to select days after that. Finished up with that lookout point, looking down into the lower lot, and like I was saying, you get really good views of Super Nintendo World, and yeah, Bowser's Castle is looking phenomenal. So all the scaffolding again has been taken down from the lower half. The scaffolding just remains at the top half of the structure, but you can really get amazing viewpoints into that particular land. Even the closer you get to the lower lot, the better the view gets. And it's just, again, it's looking so well put together, and I just love the color. The vibrancy is what's really striking, and that's what really draws your eye the minute you turn the corner when you're heading down to the lower lot. But again, really good views into Super Nintendo World. Work on that is progressing very, very nicely, and yeah, I could see why they announced early 2023, because it's just moving so fast. Now, when it comes to the Halloween Horror Nights mazes, the one that's behind Revenge of the Mummy looks to be complete. They're just adding a little few details here and there. Every single week that I'm here, I'm noticing just tiny little things, but they've probably moved on to the lighting and the audio stage of the build out. So that one again is the classic Universal Monsters maze. They've announced that one a few weeks ago. That was the first HHN house that was announced this year. And then the other haunted house that they're building right behind Transformers, that one's still in early stages of construction. So they're putting up the flats right now. They've obviously completed the layout, but other than that, from what we can see on that particular vantage point and from the tram, there's really not too much earth-shattering progress happening this week. So we'll check back next week. Next week I'll ride the tram and really get to see what they've completed over that 7 days. But it looks like right now, most of the work is happening just on putting up the flats with that particular haunted house. And before we close it out, remember they still have a lot of Jurassic World Dominion merch. Go ahead and comment down below if you've seen the movie already. Got these orange hats for $26. They also have a bunch of other cool things in here. Look at all the Loungefly bags. I think that's Loungefly. It is, yeah. It's a really nice Jaws one. Love that. Little mini bags and wallets. The classic Universal Monsters one is like one of the best. I mean, it still doesn't outshine the ET bag, but they get pretty close. Oh, that's a cool t-shirt. Love these. See, the kids shirt is $25. And this one over here is mystery. I've always loved these Universal Studios posters with all the classics on there. How much is that? 17 bucks. Not too shabby. And since it's summer and people are heading to the beach and the water park, Volcano Bay, these would be perfect at Volcano Bay. Well, you know what? I think that's going to do it for today's very quick Universal Studios Hollywood update. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel and you love these updates from Universal Studios Hollywood or Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm or wherever, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay up to date on every time I post a new video. If you want even more updates and fun content, be sure to follow my Instagram account. I'll leave that link down below in the description. And as always, a huge shout out to my Patreon members. But until the next visit, I hope you have a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever it is. And I'll see you next time in the parks. Bye.